Hello and welcome back to live coverage of the Pioneer 2K Open hosted by Apex Gaming. I'm Tandy, joined by Ross Merriam. Say hi, Ross.
Hi, Ross.
All right, let's do a rundown of where we're at and what these players are playing for, Ross.
Yeah, so we are in our semifinal round. That really is a big round here on the Apex series because these are 2-slot qualifiers for the Apex Invitational coming up in November. So these players playing for that slot right now, also playing for a good bit of cash. It's 150 guaranteed to our 2 semifinalists, 300 for second and 500 for first place. So playing for a good chunk of change, and we've got some really interesting matchups. Starting with our backup match, we have Jason Taylor on Auras, who we watched dispatch a Gearhulk creativity from Joe Watson in the quarters. He'll be playing into Dylan Ham, one of the more decorated players in the Apex series, playing stock Rakdos.
Yeah, stock Rakdos, you know, the tried and true deck, aka the best deck in the format, always roughly 15 to 25% of any given metagame, and put him into the top 4, so you can't really complain, eh?
Yeah, definitely not. This matchup, I feel, really comes down to, can Jason Taylor find functional draws that start with Glade Cover Scout?
Yeah, there's a weird dynamic with the Auras deck where if you're playing against a heavy interactive strategy like Rakdos, if you play turn 1 Glade Cover Scout, their hand just shrinks. It just becomes shriveled. Like all the interaction just looks so mediocre and bad. So let's cross our fingers and hope for some of those Glade Clover Scouts in the early turns.
Yeah, and the match we will be starting with here under camera, we have our 8-seed Josh Milliken, Rakdos Sacrifice. Watched him absolutely dumpster Evan Smith on Mono Red Wizards in the quarters. He'll be playing against Cody Vanderveer on Abzan Greasefang, the 4-seed. So Cody going to be on the play in this matchup. We have yet to see Cody on camera today, so wanted to show him, in this round, playing for the slot to the Apex Invitational. He's playing the heavy, Traversy, Ulvenwald, and Delirium build of this deck. Has 3 copies of Vessel of Nascency, 0 copies of Satyr Wayfinder.
Sure. I think that's a pretty reasonable change. You have to essentially balance your payoffs with your enablers in this deck. And I think the Vessel of Nascency Traverse package gives you a little more consistency in actually finding the Greasefangs, where Satyr Wayfinder, yes, helps you at land drops, but so does the Vessel, I think it's a weird trade-off, and thankfully didn't get punished against the tons of edicts in the previous round where they defeated that mono black deck that we saw multiple times today.
Yeah, so Vanderveer should be able to find his Greasefangs pretty consistently in this matchup, but one of the main differences between Rakdos Sacrifice and Rakdos Midrange is Rakdos Sacrifice is much more able to turn on Revolt for their fatal pushes between Deadly Disputes, more Treasure Makers, Witch's Oven. Your fatal pushes are live to answer Greasefang a lot more often in the Rakdos Sacrifice deck than the Rakdos Midrange deck. So I like Milliken in that matchup.
Sure. All right. Well, our players are ready in the feature match here. We're going to head down there in just a moment. But first, before I wanted to talk a little bit about what is on the line. So as we said, the second place, $300, first place, $500. But the real prize is qualifying for 2 different events if you can win 1 or 2 of your next matches. The winners of this round are both going to qualify for the Apex Invitational in November. That's going to be a 20K invite only event. It's going to be an awesome time. Make sure to check out apexgaming.gg if you want more information on that or how to qualify. But the winner is also going to be qualified for the regional championship at DreamHack Atlanta later in the year as well. So not only money on the line, but invitations to multiple big events coming up, and that's what they're playing for. So let's go on and head down to the feature match area and watch them play for it. All right, we're going to be watching Rakdos Sacrifice versus Greasefang here. So you have Rakdos Sacrifice winning, is that right?
Yeah.
I'll just say Greasefang to root against you.
Okay, well, I made 3 picks in the quarterfinals. I went 3-0, so
wow,
good luck with that.
Big game. You know who else is able to predict the metagame easily is MTGGoldfish.com. I don't know if you've ever read that website, but they have a pretty good data matrix. That's pretty spot on. We're off to the races. Cody Vanderveer first on the play here, and it's going to be casting a Thoughtseize on the first turn, seeing a mulligan from Josh Milliken, revealing 2 cats, a fatal push, a claim the firstborn, and 2 lands. You got to imagine that fatal push is the take here.
Yeah, definitely the most unique card. The cats are not very threatening.
Excuse me. Mayhem Devil was the take, and then we were writing down the rest of the cards. Excuse me. All right, here's a cat.
Interesting. The Mayhem Devil isn't that threatening here with no sacrifice outlet. That said, no sacrifice outlet means the push is also not that threatening.
I was about to say. All right, cat from Josh Milliken is going to get a drain for 1. Over on Tomb, tapped for Cody Vanderveer. I know they mulligan at least once. maybe twice. So perhaps just very low on resources, nothing to do on turn 2. Another cat for Josh Milliken. Drew an Ob Nixilis, but a little far away from casting it with only 2 lands. But the Unlucky Witness is a play, and we're getting micro beatdowns going.
Yeah, I've got some 1/1s. Good news for Milliken is that Cody did not have any sort of 2-mana enabler like Perfine's Informant to discard Parhelion or a Grizzly Salvage. So a little bit of a slow hand from Cody here, while Milliken doesn't have much going on and now misses that 3rd land drop.
Yeah, micro beatdowns coming across, though. 3 points of attack, and Cody hasn't put any real pressure onto the table. We're going to go ahead and cast Traverse the Illivan, getting a Swan, and maybe drew that one for the turn. Maybe it was kind of holding on to it and waiting, but deciding, hey, I need that 4th land drop. Maybe has something like Eska's Chariot in hand that needs to be deployed in order to protect against these 1/1s.
Yeah, could also have the boat next turn if he finds a 5th land.
All right, 3rd land for Joshua Milliken. It's going to unlock a whole lot of stuff. Attack for 3 coming.
You can't make the boat noise until he plays the boat.
Oh, my bad. You said boat, and I just did it. I'm sorry. All right, attack for 3 and a land. Here's the Chariot.
That was off the top, too.
Nice.
So I think Cody's hand is pretty weak, and so is Milliken's. So a bit of a strange game here. Both players sort of...
Well, in a turn push token's good, because now you can claim the other token, and if you have a sacrifice out of this, pretty solid. Looks like just a couple of Ob Nixilises in hand, though.
Yeah.
It's going to get big. Playing pre-combat, attack with 3 things, get 2 triggers on it. Is that how it works?
No, if you deal 2 damage, then... Yeah, this is actually really awkward, because if you attack with 2 things, Cody can just say no blocks, and you won't get a trigger. If you attack with 3 things, he can block, it'll deal 2 damage, you won't get a trigger. Attack with 1 thing, he blocks, he takes 0 damage, and he won't get a trigger.
Sounds like the worst templated card I've ever seen.
You have to lose 1 life.
Okay, well, here's the Ob Nixilis Captive Kingpin. Whenever the opponent loses exactly 1 life, and even though these 1/1s are all attacking, they combine to deal combat damage, which is really strange. But that Captive Kingpin can grow large when you start doing the mini combos like Cat Oven, and we'll hopefully see something going off next turn. Cody just flooding out bad.
Without any way to get the Greasefang Parhelion combo online, these Ob Nixilises are going to dominate the fair game. Just a giant flying creature.
And packs it in. Knew about the Claim the Firstborn from way earlier and just nothing to do. Cody Van Dever down a game due to heavy mulligans and not a whole lot of his game plan going right.
Okay, so moving to the sideboards, we'll see if there's anything Cody can have to help himself out in the post-board games.
Oh, I know what he can have. He can have a Greasefang and
Yeah.
Graveyard Enablers.
I see 2 Assassin's Trophy, 1 Duress, 2 Extinction Event, 2 Fatal Push, 3 Leyline of the Void, 2 Liliana of the Veil, 1 Ray of Enfeeblement, 1 Shielder the Apocalypse, and 1 Sky Sovereign console flagship that is in addition to 2 in the main deck.
Sky Sovereign's got to be okay, right?
Yeah,
Fair game plan stuff.
I like the
that's
boat.
also...
I think I also just like the trophies. I want an answer to Witch's Oven.
I will never bring an Assassin's Trophy to kill Witch's Oven. That's like the the least.
It also just kills Mayhem Devil. It kills Ob Nixilis.
Look, I don't know. I can't stomach it. You feel free to do whatever you want. But you won't catch me casting Assassin's Trophy anytime soon.
I wish it was a different card. I'm also not an Assassin's Trophy fan, but I think you need to kill those cards in this matchup, and that's what the card you have in the sideboard to do it.
Look, I play Assassin's Trophy in exactly Neoform Atraxa because the Neoforms go so over the top that the Assassin's Trophy is pretty good. And the theory behind it is very similar, right? You have to have a catch-all card that takes care of things like Leyline of the Void while also handling other cheaper things like Rest in Peace. So I get it. But if it's just Witch's Oven, I'm good.
Okay. I mean, it's also Mayhem Devil. It's also Ob Nixilis.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
That's about it.
Okay. All right, that's fine. All right, what about the other side of the table?
Okay, on Josh Milliken's sideboard, I see 2 copies of Thoughtseize to go along with the 2 in the main, 1 Go for the Throat, 1 Dreadbore, 1 Go Blank, 2 Kolaghan's Command, 1 Liliana of the Veil, 2 Karizev's Expertise, 1 Liliana, Waker of the Dead, and 4 copies of Leyline of the Void.
Okay, so maybe you do side in the Assassin's Trophies because of Leyline of the Void.
I don't know why you picked against the 4 Leyline of the Void deck against Greasefang, but
I just like picking against you. I don't really care what actually happens.
I like the ley lines. I like the go blank. I like the 2 Kolaghan's commands. Those can destroy the vehicles if Van Devere casts them naturally. And I like the thought seizes. So plenty to bring in here from the sideboard for Josh Milliken. And I think he's just going to go for a more controlling game plan, cut some of his spot removal from the main deck, just leave in the ones that can answer a Greasefang.
Yep.
And, cut these Liliana the Veils and these Croxes.
Okay, sounds good. All right, as these players shuffle up here for game number 2, I want to say a big shout out to our sponsors here in the Apex Gaming Series. Wings, etc. Grill and Pub going to be keeping Ross and I fed and lubricated later this evening. Looking forward to that. Also, shout out to Ultimate Guard for giving us so much awesome swag, not only to give away to every AIQ top 8, including 4 Cortex boxes of sleeves, 1 Katana box of sleeves, 2 boulders, a Sidewinder, and an archive deck box, all to every single top 8 of our AIQs, but also for giving us a ton of swag to put on our prize wall. And lastly, shout out to G Fuel Energy for keeping us hydrated and keeping us energized. Thank you so much for our sponsors here on the Apex Series.
Okay, well, so far Josh Milliken has played 3 games in our elimination rounds, and none of them have been close. He's just rolling through everybody.
Look, if you look at the matchup matrix from RC Dallas, Rakdos Sacrifice had exactly 2 bad matchups. I don't remember what they were exactly, but out of the top 12 archetypes or whatever, having 2 bad matchups means that your deck is just great.
I believe they are Mono Green Devotion.
I think they were. I think they actually had a winning percentage against Mono Green. Weirdly,
It's
a bad, like a weird stat.
Yeah.
Well, so my thoughts on it were that they juiced their claim to firstborns a little bit in the matchup because of Polukranos, and maybe that just created an extra pressure point that they could exploit, and that like 2 percentage points just like gave them a slight edge or whatever.
Maybe. Josh Milliken here taking a mulligan, showing that I am indeed the jinxiest announcer in Magic the Gathering.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind next time I say something. So I don't know if you ever watch me stream, Ross, but like, is there a running joke that I'm just like, well, I'm gonna do this, but if my opponent has this exact card, it's gonna be very bad for me and I lose. And then I would say 9 out of 10 times my opponent has that exact card and I lose.
Yeah, but that's just a Moto curse. You can't call things out like that and dare the Moto gods.
I see.
That's just hubris.
Yeah, Worth Walford, please save me. That's a name that many of you probably don't know. He's been out of that program for a decade.
We're putting a card on the bottom. I don't think... No, I think that might be a Leyline of the Void.
Can we get some
Also be a
hashtag
Fatal
blame
Push.
Worths in chat?
No, yeah, it's a Leyline. Okay.
All right, well, this might be an easy game for old Josh Milliken. Here's a turn 1 Thoughtseize. That doesn't stop the ley line. And here we have a hand of Unlucky Witness, Kolaghan's Command, Witch's Oven, and 2 lands after the mulligan. Cody Van Deaver taking a peek. What do you think he's going to take?
This is an interesting one. With the Leyline, I would think there's a chance Cody's going to go on a fair plan, at which point Kolaghan's Command is the most important card.
Love it.
And immediately takes it.
Okay, cool. So back Josh Milliken's way. This is going to be Josh Milliken's turn number 1. Draw for the turn. Does he deploy Witness or does he deploy Witch's Oven? Looks like he drew Deli Dispute. So my guess is going to play the Witness and then dispute it next turn.
There you go. Gonna want to dispute it on Cody's turn so that you get another turn to play whatever card you find off of it. And there's another Unlucky Witness too.
Ooh, now this is a Castle Lockthwain, so without another untapped land, it is going to enter tap. So I guess it's just going to be Witch's Oven and pass.
Yeah, Castle Guild Gate is it's a card.
Here's Grizzly Salvage, but no Graveyard Enabler working here. You know a card I'd maybe like to see in Pioneer, Ross, and you probably will agree with me?
What?
Lingering Souls.
Oh, yeah.
Lingering Souls would be a
on my
juicer.
list.
All right, turn number 3 for Cody Van Deaver. Just played that Grizzly Salvage. Found something, but needs to find something to kill this Leyline of the Void. You might want, like, I don't know, Haywire Mites or something in your sideboard that you can find off Grizzly Salvage, because this looks bad.
Yeah, so far he had a hand that looked like it would be very good in game 1, but against the Leyline in game 2, much rougher and does not have many answers to it.
Yeah, the power of the sideboard. Here's the Boseiju Endorse. And just like that, Cody unlocking the graveyard. The Boseiju does go to the exile zone because its channel is a discard, and then the ability goes on the stack, so it should be exiled.
That is a truth fact.
A truth fact. Ross says the weirdest things sometimes, chap.
Boseiju is a singleton in the 75, so 3 answers to Leyline of the Void in Cody's deck, and it finds one of them, and now we got a game.
All right, here is Rafine's Informant. We're going to draw this card, hopefully get a Parhelion in the grave, and there it is. We get a counter on the Rafine's Informant. Do we have land number 4? I see a Sky Sovereign.
Yeah, I see a big boat. So if we have a Greasefang or an untapped land next turn.
All right, this is a big burst of card advantage here for Josh Milliken. Gets to turn the Unlucky Witness into a real card, and then gets to draw 2 as well. Finds Leyline of the Void. That one normally would be okay to hit, but the Parhelion is already in the graveyard, and the Leyline of Void is a preemptive measure and does not affect anything that's already there. So maybe it's going to be a little too slow.
Found another Unlucky Witness there. I might have sacked the other one to the Witch's Oven on the unstep still, so you can dig even deeper with the one you just drew, because the cards that are exiled from the one you sacked to Deadly Dispute aren't really helpful here.
Yeah, the land is free. I don't think Leyline of the Void is worth, but maybe you go. It's tough. I guess if you play Mayhem Devil, you have the ability to kill a Greasefang before it goes off. And so in that case, I think you just go Mountain, Mayhem Devil, play the other Witness, pass. You know, hope you get to untap. Hope they don't go like kill your Mayhem Devil into Greasefang. GG.
Where is our third sacrifice to kill a Greasefang?
So there's a treasure, there's a food. Well, he's tapping too low.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, he still has treasure. So you sack Witness, you sack treasure, and then you sack food. That's 3.
And you have 2 mana. Okay.
Land number 5 from Cody. There it is. That's gonna be the boat. Do it, Ross.
That doesn't look like a boat though.
Oh. All right. Well, I'm just gonna say it's something that costs 5, and it's double.
Oh, it's a fancy boat.
Well, most boats are fancy. Although I don't know if you've seen the news lately, but those orcas are going animal on them friggin' yachts, dude.
I think we will see the Rafine's Informant get shot down by the Mayhem Devil before Mayhem Devil. Now we just need to find another replacement devil, and we got something going.
All you need is draw one of your other best cards. Okie dokie. Back to Milliken's Way. Skyboat does knock off the Mayhem Devil. We do have Cat Oven. There's a Thoughtseize. That's a decent pickup. Can maybe prevent it from being crude next turn.
And I know that there's another boat in Cody's hand. We saw a normal looking one.
You know, I thought so too, which is why I thought it was weird when he played Devulcha or whatever it's called. All right, you got me. I don't know. I don't even know what that's from. Probably, actually, I feel like I do know what it's from. It's got to be from Warhammer 40K. That's what I'm calling.
It's a good guess.
It's got a cool name too. Devulcha sounds Italian.
Get in with the Unlucky Witness. Now I think we'll Thoughtseize.
Or Latin.
All right, got
another boat.
Another boat and a land. Okay, so nothing else going here for Cody Vanderveer. Gonna need to find something off the top. I think I would just sack this Unlucky Witness, but
well, so here's the thing: if you hit like Fatal Push, you can. If your opponent can go Greasefang, and then you can find Fatal Push off the sacking of the Witness.
Yeah, just wait a turn.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Or just wait forever, right? Just wait as long as you can. All right, now we get to do cat tricks. Zip zap. Sack it, bring it back.
Okay, we're gonna zip zap zoop, loop the cat. You lose life. So 13 to 18, and now we got a clock with this den. Yeah.
Mayhem Devil to pick up. That's even better clock.
We still don't have 3 sacks to stop a Greasefang.
No, but I still think it's worth. You know, and maybe that was a reason to maybe not bring back the cat, but I feel like the cat's just like too strong in that spot to not bring back. All right, another draw from Cody. Is it scary or is it death? Here is another land.
Yeah, another land off the top. At this point, I would leave the cat in the graveyard. Don't let yourself get Greasefanged.
I think we can kill. I think we can just go for the kill here. So I think that would do
with the den. It's
the brains and the drains. Okay. The game's over if Cody doesn't have an answer here. And I feel like Cody would have killed the Mayhem Devil in response to some of the stuff. Doesn't have it. Maybe has something that can kill Justin in the Bugbear. Hey, just draw your good cards, Ross. Okay. And Cody packs it in. Unfortunately, 2 mediocre draws. And Joshua Milliken catches his ticket to the Apex Invitational later this year and is on his way to the finals where he'll play for an RCQ invite and $500 up top.